Hello and welcome to the Tavern Chat podcast. I am your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog. So, before we were doing all these interviews and these pub hangouts and such, I was talking about how defeat did not necessarily have to mean death, and it certainly didn't necessarily mean death when I first was playing the game. And Rich from Cockatrice Nuggets has some good ideas and thoughts about Parlay. So we're going to listen to his voicemail. And I got some more thoughts on the whole topic.
Hey Eric, this is Rich from Cockatrice Nuggets. I really liked your cast on death not being the end. I think that's true, and it's more an old school play than new school, because new school, the players are the heroes, right? And they are mighty and cannot be defeated, and every encounter is balanced. So players go in thinking that this is something we can overcome, and if it starts to overcome them, retreat isn't always an option. I recently started a campaign with 5th edition and used XP for gold instead of XP for monsters, and it's really changed the way my players have played. Their first go-to is Parlay now, and that's mostly what they want to do. They know that random encounter is not going to be carrying enough cash to get them up a level, so they'd rather talk it out and go find some treasure stash somewhere. Maybe even ask these guys if they've seen treasure. So I think that experience mode can change the way your players play. Talk to you soon.
You know what? You are spot on, and I think you've identified where Parlay stopped being the what am I looking for here? The usual, or not, or at least a viable option, and that changed with 2nd edition. Now, if you look at 1st edition and 2nd edition, you can say that there really isn't that much of a change between the two. I mean, maybe the rules are a bit more coherent and stuff, but you know what they did? 2nd edition changed the experience points focus. 1st edition, you were focused on gold for XP. Well, actually, gold and treasure, because your magic items that you kept were also worth XP. Defeating monsters was worth XP too, don't get me wrong, but that wasn't where the bulk of your XP came from. And if you were a smart group, you didn't fight everything you came across because, like Rich says, odds are they're not going to be carrying enough money to make it worth your while. Think about that. Now, with 2E, suddenly you got experience points based upon your class. Fighters did better with combat experience points. Thieves for using their thiefly abilities. Magic users for casting spells. Clerics for healing and casting spells. You still got XP from defeating monsters, but the focus changed. Now, if you think about it, that change of focus, which is minor on the surface, is huge behind the scenes. If you knew that you could sneak in and steal 5,000 gold pieces worth of treasure, or at least you had a chance to, and avoid combat, wouldn't you do it? But if the fighter gets the bulk of his XP now through combat, he wants to get into combat. He doesn't want the thief finding a way to sneak in through a secret door or disarming traps. He wants to get his ass in there beating the shit out of stuff. Right? The magic user is like, wait a second, I want to cast my spells. I want to get my XP. So you've taken away the idea that avoiding combat can be more profitable, even experience point wise, than being in combat. And I think that is spectacular. And I think that is where old school gaming changes, or gaming changes. D&D change. I always thought that the big change was going from 2E to 3E, and no, the big change is going from first edition, or basic expert in first edition, to 2E. We lost the focus. Old school gaming, as originally intended, was more about tomb robbing, I guess you could say, than balanced encounters. And that's interesting to see that. To me, all right, maybe this was obvious to others, but to me, I can now see why gameplay changed so drastically between the two editions. Now, in a lot of our old school rule sets, some use XP for gold, or they've boosted up this. A lot of it's hand waving now. Listen, even with Swords and Wizardry Light, you get XP based upon the sessions played. Really, you're Swords and Wizardry Light. You're going to, or Continue Light, you're going to level based upon your sessions successfully played, as opposed to what you acquire. But that still allows for parlay. But when you tell classes, or when you tell your players that the most effective way to level up is no longer acquiring treasure, but is defeating your enemies, you've now changed the dynamics. Wow. Interesting. Again, I'm surprised I never saw it so clearly before, but yeah, you tapped that one, sir. You were spot on, Rich. Spot on. All right, folks. I'm still lethargic, and as my beautiful wife Rach remarked, "You must be cold. You're putting on your robe." A, it was a Christmas gift, and B, I'm actually a little cold, but it's cold here in New York tonight. It's going to be a cool night. All right, folks. Thank you as always. If you get a chance, if you're listening in iTunes, if you want to drop us a rating or review, appreciate it. I have a Patreon, Tank Cars Tavern. You could look it up if you got a Patreon. Always I'm thankful for anybody who backs. Thank you. It's going to be a busy week here at the on the podcast side of things. I believe that we have 4 interviews. I know that it is, I believe, Finn's Florio tomorrow, Skeeter Green on Wednesday, and then I have another 2 on Thursday and Saturday, I think. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. We have a lot of interviews in the mix. Fun times. I've got a lot of great feedback on it, so thank you all. All right, folks, stay safe, be well. God bless. Stay warm. And I will talk with you all tomorrow. Later, folks.